The head bobbing and swaying we see during fights between male lizards has long been thought to be a way of showing off their vibrant colors to attract mates. But a new study suggests there's much more to this behavior than meets the eye. Turns out these movements are also a means of intimidating rivals, negotiating potential battles, and saving energy. So how does this bob and weave work? Let's take a closer look at the details of this new study published in the journal PLOS ONE. Researchers from the University of California set up a series of experiments using 15 male emerald tree skinks, all housed in outdoor enclosures with multiple males per tank. These tanks were full of branches for the lizards to climb on, which provided plenty of opportunities for the lizards to engage in their signature head bobbing and swaying behavior. But these behaviors don't occur randomly. They usually happen in response to other lizards. And in this case, the researchers wanted to understand how these responses varied when the lizards had visual access to one another. They did this by recording the lizards using a camera system that allowed them to monitor the frequency and type of behavioral interactions that took place. First, the researchers looked at the types of responses that the lizards gave when they saw another male in their territory. Basically, they wanted to see if the lizard's response depended on whether the observer was a rival, a mate, or a random lizard. Since the strength of the head bobs and sways would depend on who the observer was, they could use these movements as a way of understanding what the lizard was thinking. So a bigger, more aggressive movement would mean it was a rival, whereas a more submissive or inquisitive response would be used towards a mate or random lizard. What they found was that the lizards responded differently to rivals compared to any of the other categories. When they saw a rival, the males engaged in more intense head bobbing and swaying, whereas when they saw a mate or a random lizard, the head bobbing and swaying was less intense. This means that these movements can be used as a form of communication to say, "Hey, I see you." It's kind of like when you walk past someone and you nod your head to acknowledge them. Then the researchers looked at the importance of visual contact in these displays. They did this by blocking the vision of some of the lizards using opaque plastic barriers. They hypothesized that if visual contact was important, then the lizards would reduce their head bobbing and swaying when they couldn't see each other. However, they continued to perform these behaviors at the same rate, regardless of whether or not they could see each other. This suggests that the purpose of the display is not simply to show off their colors. After all, if it was, then the ability to see each other's colors would be important. Instead, it seems like the main reason for doing this is to communicate with another male and tell them that you're there. Now, why would a lizard want to just tell its rival that it's there without actually fighting? Well, it turns out there are multiple reasons. First, fighting is expensive. It costs a lot of energy and can result in serious injuries. So, if there's a chance that you can scare your rival away without having to fight, it's usually the better option. Think about it like going to the gym. You wouldn't do a full workout every time you went there, right? That would be exhausting. Instead, you might just stretch or do some light weights. Save your energy for the days when you really need to lift those heavy weights. Lizards do something similar. By displaying their colors and performing these head bobbing and swaying movements, they're essentially telling their rivals, "Hey, I'm strong, I'm quick, I'm unpredictable. Try to fight me if you dare." Second, it's a way of testing the waters. By displaying their colors and seeing how their rival responds, the lizards can get a sense of how the fight might go. If the rival seems like it's going to be tough to beat, they might just back off and try again another day. Just like how you wouldn't challenge the biggest guy in the gym to a fight if you weren't up for it, right? Finally, it's a way of communicating without actually having to fight. Sometimes a good fight can bring a lot of attention, especially from females. But the lizards don't have to waste energy fighting each other to attract a mate. Instead, they can just display their colors and let the females see them. If a female sees two males fighting, she might not know who the winner will be. But if one of the males displays his colors without fighting, she can see him clearly and decide whether or not he's a good mate. So now we know that the head bobbing and swaying behavior isn't just about showing off their colors, but also has a number of survival functions. Now let's go back to the original question. How does this bob and weave work? Well, it works by combining all of the things we've talked about so far: intimidation, negotiation, and display. By bobbing and weaving, the male lizard is able to intimidate its rival, negotiate a potential battle, and display its colors to both the rival and nearby females. The lizard wants to win the fight and reproduce, but it also doesn't want to get hurt. So it needs a way to maximize its chances of success while minimizing its risks. Bobbing and weaving helps it do all of those things. But wait, there's more. A recent study published in the journal Animal Behavior and Physiology suggests that there might be even more to this behavior. Researchers recorded the heart rates of male green anoles before and after they engaged in head bobbing and swaying. They found that the lizard's heart rates increased significantly after they performed the behavior. This suggests that head bobbing and swaying is a very energetically costly behavior. To conserve energy, lizards usually try to avoid direct confrontation. So bobbing and weaving might be a way of getting around that. By doing this, the lizards are able to communicate with each other without having to expend a lot of energy. But what's interesting is that the heart rate increase wasn't as high during contests where the lizards were both bobbing and weaving. During these contests, the lizards were engaging in more aggressive behaviors like lunging and biting. This suggests that the intensity of the bobbing and weaving may also play a role in the energy expenditure. In other words, the more intense the bobbing and weaving, the more energy it costs. So the lizards may be trying to keep their energy levels up by keeping their movements relatively gentle. It's also worth noting that the timing of the bobbing and weaving may also play a role. A slow, gentle bobbing and weaving may be used as a warning, while a faster, more aggressive display may be used to initiate a fight. This is similar to the difference between a push-up and a burpee. A push-up is a slow, controlled movement that's used to build strength and endurance. A burpee, on the other hand, is a fast, explosive movement that's used to improve power and speed. In the same way, a slow, gentle bobbing and weaving may be used to conserve energy, while a faster, more aggressive display may be used when the lizard is ready to expend energy to win a fight. Overall, the research suggests that the head bobbing and swaying behavior in male lizards is a complex, dynamic behavior that serves a number of important functions. It's not just a way of showing off their colors, but also a way of communicating with rivals, negotiating potential battles, conserving energy, and attracting mates. And as we learn more about this behavior, we'll have a better understanding of the incredible adaptations that allow lizards to thrive in so many different environments. If you enjoyed learning about this amazing animal behavior, please share this video with your friends and family. Thank you for watching and supporting our channel. We love bringing you the best in reptile science.